Nobody asked, but Luigi's Mansion 3 is definitely one of the more unique games on the Nintendo Switch. And I mean that in a good way. Nintendo's Ghostbusters has you play as Bill Murray as you try to rid New York of ghosts, armed with only your wits, a ghost-sucking vacuum, and a cease and desist from Warner Bros. All jokes aside, I delayed reviewing this game from the week it came out for a good reason. I didn't really know how to describe it. I didn't want to delay because I thought if I played a brand new game, then maybe that'll bring some new people to the channel. But then I thought, no it won't. And I was right. Also, I don't want to review a game that I don't know how to properly review. I'm not just gonna pop out some video just for the heck of it. My 33 subscribers deserve better, dang it. So I tried to figure out what it was. I was enjoying the game, but I couldn't really pinpoint why I was enjoying the game. Don't get me wrong, this game has some strong points. I think the strongest point is the animation. It's so vibrant and fluid. I haven't seen animation this animated since that strange yet beautiful love child between Nintendo and the devil. When Luigi gets scared, he stiffens up and his teeth chatter. The ghosts just kind of flow around with these exaggerated personalities like they're Looney Tunes characters. I really like the animation and character design. But what else is there? The gameplay isn't platforming. There's puzzles, but they're not all that challenging. The boss fights are fun, but they're not the reason the game is fun. Overall, the gameplay is very simple. Frankly, I don't know how to reconcile my enjoyment of the game with factors that objectively should make the game stale, but don't. I waited on this review because I knew Luigi's Mansion was a good game, but I couldn't really figure out how to tell you what kind of game it even was. And I'm glad I waited because I think now I know exactly how to tell you what kind of game it is. And I think it took this long because now that I think about it, I can't think of any other games like this. Here's the thing. Luigi's Mansion is not a platformer. I'm not going to compare it to any platformers. It's got puzzles, but it's not really a puzzle game. I'm not going to compare it to any puzzle games. There's only one thing I can think of that is an actual accurate comparison to what it's like to play Luigi's Mansion 3. And when I tell you this, you're gonna sigh and think this is the dumbest, most obvious thing you've ever heard, but hear me out. Let me explain myself, okay? Luigi's Mansion 3 is the video game equivalent of the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. Luigi's Mansion feels like the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I sure hope it does.
I know, duh, right? Okay, like I said, let me explain. Now, when you go to a theme park, there's all sorts of different types of rides. There's thrill rides that get your heart racing like Space Mountain. There's the slower, more story-based rides such as Snow White or Peter Pan that are more interested in telling you the story of the Disney characters they're about. But then there's three rides that are, I kind of put in a category of their own. And those three would be Pirates of the Caribbean, It's a Small World, and the Haunted Mansion. When you ride the Haunted Mansion, it doesn't really tell a story. It doesn't get your heart rate up. The joy from being on the Haunted Mansion ride comes from simply being on the Haunted Mansion ride. There's so much atmosphere and attention to detail that every little nook and cranny offers a bit of enjoyment, and everything you see just adds to the experience. And as it takes you from room to room, showing you these different fun Halloween-y haunted things Disney came up with, the more you notice, the more excited you become to see what's in the next rooms. And that excitement feeds off each other, and it's what makes the ride such a classic. And that experience is not unlike playing Luigi's Mansion. The gameplay itself is not the draw. The draw is the atmosphere. At the beginning of the video, I said I didn't think the animation was the only thing holding this game up, because when you put it like that, it sounds like a bad thing. The animation, the attention to detail, the atmosphere, that is the crown jewel of this game. But I'm not saying that in a way to say that that's the only thing it does well. I'm saying that's what it is. Luigi's Mansion 3 is a video game theme park ride that you strap in, and the more you look and the closer you pay attention, the more you'll enjoy it, because Nintendo did pour that Disneyland level of attention to detail into every room, into every character design, into every nook and cranny. So like on Haunted Mansion, when you go and look in the nooks and crannies, you just find more, and finding more makes you even more and more excited to progress further into the game to see What kind of new enemies are you gonna see? What's the next boss gonna be like? What's the next theme of the next floor gonna be? And that excitement is what makes Luigi's Mansion so fun to progress through. If you're looking for a game with 100 hours of content, or something with really tight competitive multiplayer, this isn't your game. This game isn't as much a game as it is an experience. And coming from someone who usually really only cares about gameplay, the fact that I'm saying this as a good thing should mean a lot. Typically, these kinds of games don't grab me. I don't typically rate games like this very high because I don't think that's what a game should be. But Luigi's Mansion 3 does that well enough to make me look back on it and think, you know what? I don't really feel like I've played a game, but looking back, I know I had a really good time with that. And when I think about it, I have to give it a 3 out of 5, because while the gameplay isn't engaging, it's still really fun.